Talk about late. Oh, I even have my Vicebs on. Alright, now for layout. Come on, layout. No, there we go. Enlarge layout. There. Upsy daisy. Here. I think here works. Sure, all of that is set. Hi there, Matt. I'm just warming up the stream. It quite literally has just started. Yeah. All right. This is gonna be a challenge. Wow, I have my Discord notifications on. Hold on. Wait. Pin 1. Pin 2. All right, that's working. That's great. Pin 3. Indy says, "Oh my God, is that the hit Twitch sensation Gibbous? Twitch sensation? Goodness me, I only have what, 3K followers. I pale in comparison to the other content creators out there. I'm quite literally just a drop in an ocean." Twitch sensation. More like an exaggeration. Arthur says, "Hey, I saw you on Instagram and instantly fell in love with your accent." Hi, Arthur. Well, I'm glad you enjoy how I sound. And welcome to the stream. I'm just here. Hi there, Koalimos. What are you doing as Bean Sprout? Not much. Okay, let's go on to my TikTok. Hi, Felix, John, Franz, and Lexi. Franz, you can always take over a stream if you want. Hello, understanding. Oh yeah, I forgot about pin 3. That's pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. Okay, yeah. Our camera set up properly. Should be good. What's this? Madization says, "Hello, I remember I had just followed you and I wanted to say I think your model is incredible." Thanks. It's nothing fancy, really. Just black, cyan, my little glowy tie, my brooch, and yeah. Where are we today? It's pretty outside. I'm in a world called Solitude. It's been my go-to since last year. Nice here. Quite calm. Just the way I like it. Hi there, what's this? Fiel? Reem saying. It's DJ King, and wow, that's a lot. You know, in all honesty, I wasn't expecting people to tune in. Like, this is extremely late. Call it an experimentation into time zones. Like, I started around 2:30 p.m. The last time I streamed was around 11:30 a.m. So, lunchtime. Oh yeah, Qualimos, thanks for the 10 bitties. I appreciate it. Oh well, here we are. Oh, yeah, I know why I was late. You see, last night I was brainstorming. I was working on the draft for my how do I not call it a Patreon thing? A patron only uh, content thing. AKA I make stuff that people can subscribe to. I mean like monthly. It's gonna be totally separate from my live streams. My live streams will still be here. But for those that want a little extra or have a little extra coin to throw around, you can get more of well, me. Yeah, it's not an OnlyFans and fancy. It's not that kind of content chat. All I'm going to do is I'm going to be reading novels and various things, right? Because a lot of people have been requesting that they would love to hear me just reading things to them. And I said, you know what? I enjoy reading anyway. Why not? The spicy, you know what? Spicy is probably the proper term. I'm not gonna read like explicit things. That is beyond my scope of capabilities. But mild erotica, yeah, I mean, sure. Fade to black stuff, yeah, sure. And yeah, and there's gonna be three tiers, or was it four? I don't remember. Tier one is audio only. Also, thank you so much, King Arthur, for the sub. So tier one is going to be audio only, right? For example, you're driving your car or you're doing chores and you just want something playing in the background for. I'm targeting like a couple of hours per month of content. And then tier two would be access to the video version of it. Because I'll be doing all these readings here in VR chat, just the same way I'm streaming. So, yeah, 16 by 9 format, full HD. And tier 2 can also vote for what they want me to read. I think tier 3 you know what? Why am I guessing? It's here in my Discord. Let me read it. Pins. Alright. Oh no, not that one. That's general. Let's go back to reading project. So yeah, tier 1 is audio only, tier 2 is the video recordings. It includes some erotica stuff. Tier 3 is they can vote for one book or novel per month on what I'm going to read, and you get personalized shoutouts. And the last tier is the platinum tier. How does the platinum tier work? Well, so far I've drafted the idea of giving you one-on-one reading time. If I have extra hours to spare, maybe we can schedule something. You play VR chat, you need company. The storyteller right next to you as you go sleep or just relax or chill. Then I can be there by hour. That's what I'm working on. John Paul says I may consider the erotica tier. That's going to be the general tier. Man, it's so hot. What happened to the AC? Huh. Oh, it's probably my fan. Wait. Let me turn it on. It's underneath my table. There we go. Anyway. Hi, Gebus. I'm currently wearing a fursuit and in the train. Make sure you don't sit on anything sticky, okay? Usually these public transportations don't exactly have the most sanitized seats. If you don't mind, how do you play your music? Why, I have a music player in the background. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna find bus seats and or like taxi cab seats with Well, chewed up gum underneath, or perchance somebody spilled a rather sweet drink, and you know how dried sugar is. Acts pretty much like glue. Not quite music addict. So good afternoon, Ray. Hi, Axiom. I hope you're working on our Minecraft thing. Are you using a voice changer? No, the only filter I have is my noise filter. If I don't have it on, you're gonna be hearing a lot of background noise. A lot. Now, let me go read chat. I could have sworn I missed a few messages. Cameron is here and just subscribed for 13 months. A little late, but thank you so much, Cameron. You are utterly diabetic when it comes to your sweetness. What else? Let's go down, scrolling. And yeah, now it's Mochi the Twitch dog. Hi. Hi there, bunny. Do you accept song requests? This isn't the channel for that sort of stuff. Long time no see. It seems like Axiom's the acquaintance, not me. Gosh. Micah says this is giving me lackadaisy vibes. I love it. No, simply because I look classy, have a tie, a comb, have some jazz playing. Either Virionic. Face reveal? Why, you're looking at my face right now. Muff says I have your drawings I made of you. Well, post it on a TikTok thing and then tag me. Thank you. Hello, I saw you on TikTok and I like your content. Well, I assume most of the newcomers here have watched my most recent video. And that's me telling the story about the wolf. Or maybe you saw my Khajiit impression. Tell me, chat. For those of you that's new, that just popped in, this is the first stream that you've been watching of me. What post did you last watch that brought you here? Yama says, that is not my playlist. Hold on. Checking my playlist. Okay, where were we? Your live just came into my FYP, says Simon. I see. The lasagna part. What lasagna? Have I been speaking of lasagna without me knowing? I remember mentioning it on stream, but not having a particular video about it, unless I'm mistaken. Hmm. What's this? Mochi says. Also, hi there, Vale said. Sorry, I'm a bit delayed. There's so many messages popping up. Mochi says, you ever sometimes get that feeling where you're in the mood to make something, but you really think it ends up on the same path but on the wrong lane? You pick a different day for your creative pursuits. It's my best advice. Zen says, hey Geb, your streams make me happy every time I watch you. Thank you. What's this? Derum says, I saw someone saying how good your stream quality was, and I was kind of just investigated more and more until I'm here. Oh, are you talking about what was his name? Arcades, was it? He was a black and blue Nard dragon. I was surprised he made a video about me. He could have just asked me directly. Walimo says, I just stumbled upon your TikTok stream and thought your voice was very nice. So follow to check out when I got home. Ah. Blitzo says, I'm glad I found this. It's nice to find a part of TikTok that's chill. I love the voice. My thanks. That's what I'm trying to go for. We already have a lot of high energy, very animated and dynamic streamers out there. And then we also have the hip swaying, very alluring streamers. I'm trying to offer something different. Squeezing myself between a niche of a niche or a niche of a niche. I don't know how to pronounce it right. Niche. Your voice reminds me of Antonio Hernandez. Hernandez? I know Antonio Banderas, but Hernandez. I do style mess. I followed you on Twitch, sis, a couple of months ago, but I didn't search you since the day your channel popped up in my main page. Ah, yes. But look in pin 2. Pin 2 is still. Ooh, wow. That's bad manners. There we go. Other leggy. Let's go back to chat. Chat says, Hey Geb, I hope you're doing well. Oh, I am. Thanks. I love it how TikTok always tells us when you're streaming faster than Twitch. It does? Oh dear. I didn't know there was a delay. I was assuming maybe just a few seconds, maybe, but I hope it isn't significant. But the important thing is, you guys get informed all the same. Thank you, Easy. Either Eastern Dragon Fruit. What do you use for your rigging? Are you talking about my tracking? Well, as I've said, I use slimes. It's in my FAQ. Thank you, Luna Wool. Do you get bullied? No, not really. I'm not that sort of sellout streamer, chat. What's this? Is your hair more blue? You know what? That's a good question, Axiom. I wonder why I have a steely blue over my noggin at the moment. Let's see. Maybe it has something to do with gray. Oh, nope. Ah, I see what's going on. It's the grayscale lighting. There, it should color match better. My body's actually supposed to be a bit more bluer, and my clothes are like the monotonous color that you're seeing. Minimum brightness per chance. Lightning multiplier. There. So the discrepancy isn't that much. Ah. Man. Do you like it when it's darker this way? Or did you like how bright it was earlier? This is how bright things were earlier. Let's see if we can correct that. 65. There we go. Anywho, what's this? Driver says, "Oh my god, hi. I was waiting the whole day for you to start stream." And the chat got covered. Let's scroll up. "I was waiting for the whole day for you to start streaming. I'd like to stay the whole thing, but it's incredibly late where it is, and it's starting to get early. My bad, chat. I was I was supposed to start earlier, but there was a few hiccups along the way. I was supposed to stream yesterday, but things happened, so here we are. Don't worry, I'll stream earlier next time, promise." Hey, Styleness. Oh, it's Firehawk. Hi. Last two times I've seen you, the background made you look more black and blue than navy blue. Ah. Yeah, this feels like the time I really like to rather chat on random conversations I see. My favorite color is what you see right now. Thank you, Cool Ranch. How is this VR chat? Well, you can still see the flaws that's VR chat. There's clipping and there's. Yeah, there's. I'm not perfect, Chan. Far from it. What's this? Mochi continues. "I used to watch people talk about random conversations like stuff about Nintendo or excitement about movies. Nowadays, people are just gonna be saying okay or sure to said conversations without even noticing what they're hearing." Right. That's true. Who is that one streamer I'm watching? He has long hair, a big old forehead, and he lives in the attic, as far as I remember. And he goes like, "Oh my god, yeah, okay." Yeah, you know who he is. He's going bald. Native Knight says, "Hello, I'm new here and I've seen you on my Instagram reels and my TikTok. You seem cool to follow, and how is your day going?" Don't okay. It's surprisingly hot. I'm not sure why. I have my I have my AC at 16, but the wind doesn't seem to be hitting me. I'm thinking if I should increase the blower speed to powerful. Maybe that's the solution. Geb, what was your favorite stream moment? When somebody out of the blue turned out to be a suspiciously wealthy furry and then dug into their pockets and plopped a few coins on my stream of support. And by a few coins, I mean like a month's worth of grocery. I'm just like, wow. Wow. It's money, chat. Ah, don't deny it. You like money too. Maximum AC. Yes. Money. Money, 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 chat.
Some folks were meant to live in clover,
Ah,
but they are such a
what are
joke
you
to
wearing?
few.
Clothes. You seriously
And
sound like
so
Antonio
the
Banderas.
big dream
If
is
I
something I've never
listen, if I
seen,
stop try and stop
'cause
polishing
I was
my
born to be
pronunciations
blue.
and suppressing the accent, I will probably
When
sound a
the
lot more like him.
yellow
Also, there's lyrics in this song. Let's go change that.
they say
Oh, there we go. This is more lighthearted. Can you please look at the camera with a flirty face? I want to use it for a drawing. A flirty face. What's a flirty face? the lower lip biting. I don't know how to do that. Have a zoom in instead. Raise your eyebrow. I seem to lack the capability to do so. Oh well. Here says Gibbous. What is your opinion on barbecue meat for dinner? No carbs. That sounds like an excellent plan. You know, as Asian as I am, we actually don't need rice all the time. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. But you can totally just go meat and veggies or just plain meat. Lyle says, I love the subwar that day between Marbles and the philanthropist. Those two were just throwing subs left and right. Tony Stark versus Batman. Look, I've looked through Twitch. I've seen some content creators be graced with sub gift counters of 999 or more. And I'm like, I can't comprehend getting 1,000 subs. Like, yeah. Huh. So when I got like 40 or like 100 that day, I was like, whoa, I was flabbergasted, champ. Really caught me by surprise. I often lose my way with words whenever it involves things like gratitude. I'm not so good at it. I really need to practice saying thank you. I wish I was on the west coast of the USA so it would only be midnight instead of 2 a.m. Well, my apologies for the time. Someone just gift like 2K right now. 2K? Yeah, I wish. No, you know what? That happened once. Once. Oh, somebody gave 2K. But it was just not a random gift. I was given a challenge, chat. I was given 1 hour to get an answer. It was essentially detective work. I had to guess how they got their money and what they do for a living. And the only information I got was Spain deployed. So, fast forward 30 minutes. I was, huh, how could this person get easily disposable money like that? So, of course, I said, you must be a gambler. Yes, but no, they said. And like, yes, but no. What do you mean? Hmm. Anyway, long story short, do you want me to spoil it? Do you want me to tell you what they do for a living? Maybe I'll keep it a secret. They weren't a doctor, they weren't into real estate, they weren't into investments. You'd be surprised what they do and how they got it. Hi there, Thea. It's strange calling you in this new name. I always used to the two-syllable version of addressing you. But alas, gamay oten. Howdy, Dragonon. What's this? Do they own a casino? No, they don't own a casino. But, there's a but there. Let me fix my arms. Wow, that was very bad. But, it does involve a casino. Their $50 got multiplied by hundreds upon hundreds of times in one lucky roll. So I guess it's true. People do get lucky and strike it big. It was just on a whim too. Imagine just walking to a casino one day, like, hey, I have a spare $50. You know, why not? Spare myself buying some Starbucks and just try my luck today. Ching, chang, chang, chang. And then what do you know? I go home with 5 digits. I must go to the casino immediately, says Cool Low. Yes. Gcash, no, it's not Gcash. Gcash. What's this? No, they're not a dealer. They're not a dealer. They just went to the casino and they walked out with the money. Very easy. What's this? Mochi continues. I like how at points the casino music is calm, but I still wonder why it's calm in the middle of a bunch of gamblers waiting for their chance to win the jackpot. Maybe it's to keep the anxiety from spiking up too high. Wouldn't want to have a cardiac arrest on the game floor. We need to keep our clients playing after all. No, I don't, Dyson. I know Thea's just itching to moderate. I know you're feeling the urge to do so. Howdy, stir. What's this? Hi there, real extreme. Driver says, I have enough ludopathy with gacha games. No, thank you. Funny enough, I actually don't play a whole lot of. Here's the weird thing. I don't like gacha games in order to get characters. But I absolutely enjoy grinding games where you have to kill mobs with like a 0.001% chance of dropping an item. I That's what I enjoy. Maybe because it doesn't involve like throwing money. Imagine converting your hard-earned dollars into pixels without even a guarantee of getting it back. Well, I shouldn't say that. Hold on, never mind. I encourage pursuing your interest, chat. This is so strange. Thea here is an old friend of mine, and seeing her speak in Tagalog but TikTok automatically translates it to English because of my settings is rather humorous. Simon says, too bad it's morning in my time zone because I could fall asleep with you in the background. That is a compliment. By all means, go ahead and slumber. Whoa! Meta did the thing again. Alright, Meta. So, Meta has this bug in where it's going to randomly look like rotate you. Let's put my camera back to how it was, which is this. Put my layout over here. There we go. He's stuck saying pixel. What do you mean? Oh no, don't tell me all my cameras got messed up. No, that's good. Let's just pin one. Where were we? Right. Ah. I think the electronics has something interesting. Not slumbering on Zuckerberg's watch. Comfort creator? Wrong. Uncanny Valley? Correct. Hi. It seems I'm your No, I'm not an Uncanny Valley creator. I don't have this strange hyper realism that, let's say, Oblivion Remake has. I mean, nothing wrong with that though. It's pretty cool. Hi there, Boopkin. Good morning to you too. Well, it's afternoon here. 3:04 p.m. to be precise, but yeah, time zones. One time I went to my local casino, says Native, and I went in with $20 and I walked out with almost 1,000. Look at you hitting the money multiplier. Congratulations. Terraria with its extremely low drop rate for items. Precisely. Maybe that's why I keep on going back to Terraria. I remember always going into the Calamity mod, and then I put other mods on top of it. The one that gives you RPG classes and the races, which is pretty cool. There's a bunch of gem dragons, and you can even be undead or merfolk, all sorts of things. There was even a kenku, like those bird people. Inherent flight. Imagine being able to have wings from level 1. Hi there, Mika. Why, if it isn't Mystic? Hello, King Tritorn. And who else is new that I haven't greeted? No, I've greeted everybody. Grim9. Terraria. Terraria. What? Terraria. How do the Americans pronounce it? Terraria. I think that's how they say Terraria. Hydrate. You know, Mystic, I came prepared for that. I have a nice couple pepakwa or something like herbal honey tea. I think is the closest analog. So. Mm. Ah, it's nice. All right, where were we? Tilmes says, I say it as rare, yeah, terraria. Terraria? Like rare steak? But it's terraria, correct? Minecraft? Minecraft? Oh, let's not go there. Make sure you're hydrated before you hit the hay. Good night and sweet dreams, Mystic. Yeah, I always watch. Let me translate that back to Tagalog. What is going on? Geb, lagi ko nakakamatch yung Polmolim girl. Yung ano, yung nakakagit-gitan mo sa ganda, pero alam mong lamang ka ng like 0.5 points kaya okay lang. Mochi says, I like how I'm watching both on Twitch and TikTok in the middle of the night. Look at you multitasking. That's a night title. Why, if it isn't Marbles the Bat? Hey, I won't be able to sit today because I'm at work. Good luck on the stream. I'm on break at the moment, so I decided to take a look. Well, good luck with the rest of your shift. I hope it's peacefully uneventful. Also, thank you last time for the bunch of subs you threw my way. It really helps. It really helps times 40. Russian. I'm sorry, Chloe. You see, Marbles the Bat here is Russian, and sometimes I subconsciously inject a little bit of the accent to whoever's message I'm reading, and if I know how they sound, or at least I assume that's how they sound. I assume. I'm Midwest, forgive me. Midwest are like the. What's the difference between Midwest and the Southerners? Midwest is like Illinois, correct? Vesper is from Illinois, I believe. Or Mystic is Midwest? I don't know. I'm really bad with American geography. Are you Russian? Yeah. The Midwest is the back room, says Len. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Me too. I like cheese dogs. Surprisingly, I love the little hot dogs you can buy with cheese in them. What's this? Mess continues. I'm from Indiana. It's pretty close. The accent is a weird mix of northern with some like mid country. I see. Respectfully, you're cute. Respectfully, you have my gratitude. Thank you. I'm a cheese fan here. Cheese is delicious. Cheese is the best as holy. I agree. Luxury says Midwest is farmers. Southerners is, I don't know, 50-50 kind of split. I see. Southerners are the I'ma shoot you and then pray for your amen kind of deal, right? Well, if they trespass on your property. What's this? Holy says, the Midwest is an interesting place. Most of the states we call flyover states, meaning not a lot of people actually live there. They're just a state you fly over. Ah, sounds like a peaceful place to stay at then. What's this? All right. So, Firehawk says, my favorite thing about Texas is that there really isn't a consistent accent unless you go out west. I've never been to Texas. All I know is Texas is always used as like a point of comparison. Like, did you see the asteroid? That's the size of Texas. Or like, if you gather all of the world's water, it will form a ball the size of Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's always a point of comparison when it comes to scale. Have you seen my follower count? Definitely not the size of Texas. Americans will use everything besides the metric system. Classic Texas. Destroyed by Game says, I'm from New York, though it's upstate New York, not the city. New York, Manhattan, Spider Man, right? Xian says, or Sheen says, can I get that in bald eagles per Super Bowl? Luxury says, your follower count is great. Don't discredit yourself. You're funny, you're smart, charismatic, and personal. I just try to be me. But yeah, I am working super duper hard. 50% of the time, I'm just joking. I'm working hard to do better with each passing day. Green Wolf says New York is a large maze asking you to be lost. I've seen Central Park. It's pretty cool based on the photos. Hmm. Asmodeus says, you kinda sound like a mix between Gabriel from Ultrakill and Death from Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Okay. You know what's funny? I have not watched the movie yet. I probably should acquaint myself with it. I've watched Shrek. I've probably watched the first movie of Puss in Boots, but the second one I have not yet. Maybe I make it a goal this week. You see why everybody's saying I sound like a certain kitty with a hat and black boots and orange fur. What's this? Either Chubbings. Dialmas says Last Wish is so good. You definitely should watch it. An orange kitty, you mean Garfield? Ah, the other parallel that people compare me to because his love for lasagna is as much as mine. Yes. I love lasagna, chat. It's good, it's quick to eat, it's quick to reheat, and quick to store. And it's nice and cheesy. A Puss in Boots is voiced by Antonio Banderas, so that's a compliment. Yes, I love the guy. Legend of Zorro, Desperados. What else? Lots of other things I watched during the 90s. What's this? It got automodded. Why? Ah. Alright, Mochi, it seems you're rather well traveled. I know what I'm gonna do in a Puss in Boots styled outfit. If my memory serves me correctly, said kitty cat with a hat and boots has nothing else on his person. So how are you going to like do the rest? Let's, let me check Discord real quick. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of hugs in a certain Discord channel. Mm, today? Dinner? Hold on. I'm getting a dinner request from somebody. And you know what, chat? You know what they say. Food is the quickest way to a man's stomach. Hard to say no. Oh, barbecue? Oh, of course. Sure. It means after stream, I have to prep up and go eat. Oh no, I had heavy lunch. Did I? I don't remember. Either way, I'm still not yet hungry. Oh boy. El Mariachi. Yes, there we go. What? What happened? Okay, hold on. Let me adjust. Let me move here. Let me rotate real quick. There we go. Put my overlay up here. Adjusting. Increase in size. Oops. Lock it in place. And we're good. Okay. Because I want to be like close to the fan. We're gonna adjust the camera a teeny tiny bit. We can zoom in. But we're gonna zoom out. Okay. This seems like a more involved pose. What's this? Barbecue is best on streak? Streak? What's your main language? Tagalog. Diba, Thea? I have a feeling I should swap to my other outfit. Side view cam. Whoops. Why was I floating? Seems to be a lot of things off today. As you can see, I can magically poof my outfit into. Well, not poof, that's swap. There we go. More casual. Should look better. Lock it in place. That's what he said. Yes, the GoGo Loco has a lock in place feature. That's what I'm actually about to do. Says, I like Texas, says Mochi. Not because of the size of the state, but because of the origin of the state. What you can still do now, I wish to ride on a horse. Horsey. Do you still read bedtime stories? I actually will be launching a service, which I read things to people. Soon. Soon. Yeah, I'm using my foot to adjust the like the face of the fan to like hit me more. Hmm. Now, all right, let's go skip the geographical discussion and see the other messages. Horse riding is fun. Uh huh. Every time he zooms in, I just want to boop the screen. No, can't wait. Where's bro looking? Well, obviously, I'm looking forward, and gosh, you guys don't know how to appreciate like cinematic angles, do ya? Can I do my leaning thing? There we go. A bit of a zoom. There we go. It doesn't look out of place. All right. What's the most difficult with streaming in VR chat? I think that would be falling under the category of comfort. I can sit here for hours on end, but the problem is, unlike IRL streams, where I no, you know what? I should do that because sometimes whenever I get too many hydrate redeems, all that liquid has to go out eventually, and I have to go up, stand up, go to the bathroom, and then I don't have like a be right back like screen. Oh well. Do people recognize you in VR chat, your avatar? During the few interactions in which I was in a public instance, El Alba Cafe to be in particular, I yeah, I remember I was very flattered. A person approached me, I believe their name was Drac, and they said, "Hey, I know you. You're a streamer." It was like a Hispanic cafe, a cultural thing. And then I said, "Oh, really?" And then, "Can I take a picture?" I'm like, "Sure." I gave the most awkward smile. I was like, because it caught me by surprise. They were working as like one of the servers. Like, they were in like maid outfits, and they were like serving us guests with like tea and whatnot. It was fun. It was a social event in which isn't as cluttered as, let's say, the absolutely chaotic Black Cat or the furry hideout that isn't moderated. The instances. Oh yeah. Does Popo still exist? Yes, chat. I still have my feet trackers on, okay? I wear full body tracking from head to toe, even though I'm just sitting down. Are those loud ass Discord pings? Maybe. I don't know. How much did your trackers cost? Can you take a guess, chat? $230. They're slimes. They're not expensive. Very accessible. Quick to repair. Quicker to replace. I got it from a guy. Whoa. Sorry about that. TikTok says we have detected inactivity during your live again. Alright. Which of these objects is a handheld canopy? What? The umbrella? What do you mean? Which of these objects have a main? That and that. Confirm. There we go. TikTok. Why? What's this? Interesting Nova Beast you have there. Tempest, you know what's funny? I'm actually not a Nova Beast. I keep on. No, I didn't. I don't really. In English. Last time I told chat that I wasn't a Nova Beast and I was something else. I made them guess what I was. So we're gonna do that game again. Chat, what base species do you think I am? It should be easy. All you have to do is look at the teeth. Wicker. Incorrect. Dark dragon. Giraffe. No. A Doberman. You know what? No, I'm not. A cat. All right. Hold on. Let me rephrase the question. Which publicly sold species from Gumroad and Jinxie avatar base do you think I am? Blue. It's two. This is a personal kit bash. I did some surgery in Blender. Well, come on. What could Geb be? Chat wonders. They investigate his ears. They see the goggles, which is clearly a Nova Beast's. But Nova Beasts are known to have way larger manes, not just the short thingy I have on my forehead. He has Nova Beast like beam eyebrows, but he has nostrils that clearly aren't canine or feline. He has the dragon ridges on his lips. He has the little thingies on his cheeks, but they're only a single layer, unlike double stack like the Nova. What could he be? It's a Doberman, but you're a pilot with goggles. Chat, I fall under the category of maybe. Look, I want to call myself a dragon, but I clearly lack the horns and the wings. And the usual ferocity that people attribute to said dragons. But I am clearly not completely canine, nor feline, or vulpine. Is that what you call like foxes? And I don't know. He's a goober, says Axiom. Axiom gets a cookie from 2019. I mean, not all dragons always have horns or wings. I want to identify as a. I'm using that phrase. I want to like. I'm probably somewhere along the lines of a feline dragon, if that makes sense. But in all honesty, I just call myself a chimera because I'm a mix of two totally separate things. If you can see the rest of my anatomy, which is hi, chat. You can see my big ol' wolfy tail in the back. I have 4 toes, 5 fingers. I stand by the fact that not all dragons have wings. I believe those things are called worms. Worms or I saw a chart of all like the draconic like sub things. I keep on grabbing my goggles. Note to self, reduce the fistbone size. Hi Kayami, I miss you. I will definitely extend your greetings to my cat. I will still eat the cookie. A drake? A cat drake? Drakes though have like no like hand wings, right? Put cam when? There used to be one. It's what I call the bean cam. It was 30 seconds of, well, the camera being pointed there, but it felt weird and it kind of doesn't match the aesthetics of the stream, so I did away with the redeem. It was very popular, mind you. Anyway, back to the topic. I'm missing chat. He's a goober. If someone in chat figures it out, can we get a cat pose? Maybe, Yura, maybe. Driver says, oh, whoa, 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 hold on. Fiel and Nanashi actually got the first half. Chat, again, I'm a Volper. At least from here. The base genetics is from a Volper, yes. It's okay, style. Alright. It's in the stream tags. Am I an idiot and place the answer there? Oh, he looks like a fennec fox mixed with a fluffy. It's very simple. He's a popufur. Alright, I'm taking back the expired cookies axiom. It says. No, wyverns are the hand wing things. Oh, right. I have to go sleep, but I don't want to because I really enjoy your stream. My apologies. I actually wanted to go live for much longer, but I started late. So if you really gotta go, then go. I'm not gonna hold you here, okay? Thank you, Art Girl. I could see you as a Vernid. Vernid? Educate me. What's a Vernid again? I can't quite recall the details on what it is. Sounds like vermin. Rygenik says, I didn't realize till now that you have different skin textures around the eyes. Yes! The ever so slight increase in details. Rice in no Look, I'll give you brownies from when I was still in high school, alright? It was in a vacuum sealed container anyway. It should still be okay, Axiom. A Volper and Lycanthrope. Bye, Firehawk. Rest well. Sonic. Is it some kind of chat? Have a close, good look at my eyes. I have a bit of scales. I don't have the canine, like the big old like dog or cat nose here. Much like a blue-tongued skink, the inside of my mouth is still blue as well. But there's a reason for that, chat. Why I don't have pink or reds. Why I bleed blue. He has a frog sona. No, I'm not a frog. of all things, a frog. No. Snake or drag. Spyro. Somebody give this person a high intelligence cookie reward. Oh. Yeah, I have soft, squishy cheeks. That's a funny looking cat. I can't blame you for your comment. Don't frogs have skin? No, they don't. They are amphibious. Dean says, I almost got the blue tongue skink, but I have an Argentine tegu currently. I see. What's this? Are you gay? Mga kapwa akong kababayan. Ay nako, mga sagot nyo talaga. Anyway, where were we? And now she says, I gotta say this is a fascinating stream to find at 3:30 a.m. Am I to blame for you staying up? Go to bed. Close your phone. S- Close your phone. Do it. Close this tab. Close this tab. Shut down your computer, charge your phone, and go to bed. Now. Hmm. What if I work night shift? Then that's perfectly okay. Blue Bolt Gate. Ah. What if I want to finish my Minecraft server? Axiom, you're not sleeping until you get that done. Wow, my. There we go. What if it's 9:30 for me? Why do you guys have so many excuses? If you know you need to sleep, if you know it's your bedtime, go to bed. Go to bed. Except for Axiom Atom. And you're a hag. Okay, Grandpa. So, I'm just concerned about your well being. Come on, you can't blame me. How are you gonna grow taller if you don't sleep, right? How are you gonna get rid of those nasty eye bags you probably have if you don't? I'm done growing. Hey, come on. Being 6 feet tall isn't such a far fetched dream. Did you know that whenever you sleep, you actually grow taller whenever you wake up? Because your spine actually managed to decompress a teeny tiny bit. So enjoy your height for a short while, your buffed up height, whenever you wake up, before you slowly shrink throughout the rest of the day. It's only 12:37 for me, says Native. Ah, yes. Fiel says sleeping does make you a bit longer as your spine decompresses. Correct. Mess says 5'3" and my spine is all messed up, so that ain't happening. Look, if you have scoliosis, you are the one with the tallest potential among everybody else. Why? Because if you have an S spine curve, like you can just like attach yourself to a strap and then put like rocks tied to your ankle, depending on how much stretch you need. And then your spine's just gonna like, and then you're taller. Probably with injuries, but you're taller. It seems you guys are going through ad heck. My apologies, I don't have control over the ads. Howdy, howdy, says Ray. I'm okay. Mochi says, I'm already 6'1". Does it look like my queen size bed wants to grow any long? You know, that's the funny thing. I have a queen size bed too, and I'm 6'1". I hate it how if I'm not like, this is the head of the bed, and this is me. I hate if I'm not like perfectly in the middle. My feet are gonna hang over the edge. If I'm too high, my head is going to hit like the headboard. So, tall people problems. Especially if you live in an Asian country. Good luck finding shoes or clothes your size. I have to buy in the plus size section just to get something normal fitting for me. So if you're a guy who has history of working out, so you have like broad shoulders and whatnot, and you're tall like me, then shopping for proper fitting garments is most definitely an exercise in futility. Colt here, who was a first time chatter, says Same here. I'm 6'5" and my toes hang off the bed when I lay straight. I think for a person of your stature, sorry, you need to be like diagonal on your bed to get like the maximum space allowed. Either King. You sound like Nick from Zootopia. Nick? Really? I don't think so. Maybe. It's incredibly difficult to find good, big, and tall clothing. Precisely. Let's not even start with the public transportation. So before, when I used to head to college, I had to ride like these little vans or buses. Do you know when you sit and your knees hit the back of the chair and you have to like sit a bit slanted just to fit? Precisely. That's the difficulty of things. If you're a tall person, uh, the I think there's more disadvantages than advantages, really. It's hard to live in a society, a world designed around smaller people. But alas, hmm, what was the weirdest thing I did in order to have something small fit me? I think I butchered one of my shoes because it just wouldn't fit, so it wouldn't fit, period. I had to restaple the thing, not to any degree of success, and I lost that pair of shoes. Yes, note to self, don't try to DIY shoe things. Leave it to professionals. I remember trying to wear pants that were too tight for me. Like it's the proper leg length, but for some odd reason, the crotch area was just so tight. So when I sat, you can imagine, just like a sinkhole opening over in some major highway, my pants split in half. Like, yeah, I had to borrow my friend's shorts, and thankfully it color matched my pants, so it wasn't that noticeable that I had a huge gaping hole. There's that. What's the hardest thing for you being tall in Asia? Oh, let me tell you this. Whenever I go to the local night market, or a market in general, I 99% of the time will never succeed in getting a discount. I try and haggle, like, oh, hi, yeah, I'm from here and here. Oh, we have the same hometown. They're like, no, no, you're tall. You're a foreigner. You're pogi. Like, you're handsome. You're a foreigner. And when they say that, it automatically means they're gonna charge you more. Or, at the very least, full price. Yeah, there's that. Ah. So sometimes, whenever I'm traveling with my friends, my more Filipino looking friends, they're shorter. They're like until here. And I said, hey, 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 can you buy from there? Because I'm not going to get a discount. Yeah, yeah, I'll give you 50 cents if you do it. All right, deal. And then he buys, we get it cheaper. It's a win win for us. What country do you live in? The Philippines, yeah. I'm somewhere in Metro Manila. Come on, go to my profile. You should see my little red, blue, yellow, and white flag. Oh, if it isn't another resident Filipino streamer. Hi there, Misty. Misty says, in Tagalog, nambabarat, aka haggling. Yeah, I feel you, man, he says. I look Korean for some reason, so local marts do that to me. Right? Right? When you have the whole foreign stigma, sure, you appear attractive to the general populace, but they will not give you discounts. Mm-mm. In fact, it's the opposite. You're gonna have people asking for money from you more often. I was like, ugh. they they think I'm rich, chat. So you're always gonna have people like touching my arm, like, hey, kuya, pengen naman barya, which translates to, big brother, can you spare some change? Like, If I don't leave them alone, they're just gonna keep bothering me. Hmm. Oh yeah, I just end up giving them my coin and I go on my merry way. I'm not rich. I am by no measure rich. Do you have a podcast? I don't. What's this? Gab is flexing his pretty unprivileged precisely, chat. Being handsome is it sometimes does the opposite effect. Oh, whoa, I am not saying I'm handsome. I'm just mirroring the words of the people around me. Ah, what's this? Axiom says, if you think you're rich, you have to make it a reality. I am working hard on that, chat. Maybe in 25 years I can afford like a one bedroom house. Probably. At this rate. I actually did the math, chat. I'm broke. But anywho, enough with that broke nonsense. We are working to being not so broke. This is VR chat. 100%. If it quacks like a duck, you know. You know, I'm faking it till I make it. Ah, yes, the refined, tasteful gentleman streamer Gebus. He's probably a leader of a mob or a mafia boss, and he has tons of money and subordinates and power, authority. I'm just your average guy, chat. How tall are you? I'm 6'1". No, if anything, I don't wanna first force personas that I know I can't sustain or personas that isn't me. Sure, I'll make impressions every now and then, but wearing it 24/7, mm-mm. Yes, I'm 6'1" in Asia, chat. I'm a bit of an outlier. I don't know if it's from my weird half Chinese, half American or Russian genes, but I'm 100% Asian. That's what matters. Yes, chat, I'm half Filipino, I'm half Chinese. Ah, yes, Gibbs, Ching Chong Hanji. Yellow bellied rice enjoyer. I can say that I'm Chinese. Gebus is a tired old man. Yeah, that too, Yura. That's definitely a race. A race of tired old men. Why, hi there. Rare for Asians to be 6 feet, right? Where were we? I still wonder if I'm 6'1" because of my Mexican genes. Are you telling me tacos, nachos, and everything else actually makes you grow tall? I did enjoy a whole lot of nachos when I was younger, and I'm a big fan of quesadillas. Maybe that's why. And I'm also an avid milk enjoyer, chat. Ever since I was young, I would always drink milk, like a liter or so a day, until it became expensive. Now it's like every now and then. But as an adult right now, I don't really drink beer, hard liquor. I every now and then some sake when I have dinner outside in a Japanese restaurant, but that's it. My main liquid of choice is water, maybe some fruit juice, but predominantly milk or chocolate milk. I don't care what anybody says. I love those things. Time to update your throne with chocolate milk funds. Precisely. What the- I love milk, chat. I love cow's milk. I don't like skim milk. It's gross. It's very thin. I like full cream milk. Unsweetened full cream milk. It just tastes comfortable like it's home. So yeah. Did somebody say chocolate milk? Hi, Wolf. You're verbal again. I like that. Last time we saw you were just growling like a diesel engine warming up during a cold morning. But yeah, hi, how are you? I hope you're doing great. Chocolate milk is amazing, says Sky. Yes, you and I will be friends if chocolate milk is in your top priority of things to consume. I'll see you around, Luxury. Thanks for hanging out. Is this a safe space to say I like soy milk? Oh boy. Yes, because I actually drink soy milk too. When it's there. Not my milk of choice, but I can't say no to what's available. Love says, oh sorry, the wolf says, ah yes, I don't talk too often in public. Good to see, good to see you too. Don't be a stranger, wolf. Like I think you're super cool. Yes, chat, it is the wolf. Funny, he also has a purple name here in my overlay. How apt. If you want somebody who uses soundboards along with their fantastic, very low voice, then the wolf is the streamer to go to. He does such a great job at it that from what I know, he even is a certified voice actor. I am not a certified voice actor. I'm not one at all. So yeah, he's the go-to guy. If you want a whole domineering, actual mafia boss looking guy, go to his channel, chat. Also has a fantastic partner. What's her name? Pumpkin? I saw her art. It's really good. What's this? I burned my finger making ramen. Oh dear. Pumpkin patches. There we go, Anubis. Thank you for the correction. What's this? Is it a mod? This is so. I can't mod VR chat. Not anymore with EAC, the easy anti cheat. Who tossed coins? Thank you. Goodness me, chat. We have a grand total of 193 coins on TikTok. I tell you, within 27 years of not buying anything, including food, I can probably afford a very small house. Oh, the wolf says, look, I appreciate the sweetness, yeah. Me and pumpkin patches are well. I'll come visit you again in VR sometime. Yeah, sure. Rex says sometimes you have bashers here, big bro. Yeah, I look, it comes with being somebody on the internet. The moment you present yourself in public, in an online space, you will most certainly at least have one or two people that view you in a negative light. Maybe they don't have anything better to do in life. Maybe that's how they just enjoy things. But you be prepared. But my best advice, don't let them get under your skin. Ugh. Driver is asking, why are all lactose intolerant people so masochist? Like they eat whole ice creams and such just to end up sitting on the toilet for hours. Why? Because ice cream is worth it. vanilla ice cream, double Dutch ice cream, fudge, strawberry, pistachio, green tea matcha ice cream, oh, mango, taro. There's so many beautiful flavors in this world. I think it's well worth the visit to the porcelain throne for the next hour or so. Hey, at least you have your phone to keep you company, right? Cookie dough ice cream. Oh man. What is this? There. Where were we? Hmm. Whoa, 651 coins. Who dropped 500? Thanks. Look at Geb the penny pincher. Geb is probably one of those guys that look all nonchalant and charming, but when you turn his back, you're gonna find him crouching over, trying to go fish for coins underneath a vending machine. Hey, me, it's a waste of coins. Why not? And ka-ching, we have a subscriber. Thank you so much, Guacamole. You know, probably no matter how much wealth I get in my life, my frugality will not change. I, I've said this before. I had the time in my life around a year in which I had nothing. I was literally scrounging for coins. Had to budget like a meal per day. Yeah. Missy says, I'm gonna be heading out. Geb enjoy stream. Got the final thesis. You got this. Remember, flirt with the panelists if you think you got the charm. Bad life advice from Geb. That's free. Good luck, Misty. Thanks for dropping by. Say hi to Potato Foxy for me. What's this? Chocolate ice cream. Mmm. Can never go wrong with the basics. Hi there, Vincent Haynes. You stream so late now. I had a bit of a hiccup the other day. My apologies. Wait, Mochi redeemed some bad life advice 11 minutes ago. Hold on. What could be the. Let me scroll up. Sorry, Mochi. Where is it? I'm looking. I'm looking. Where is it? Come on, scroll. Oh man, I can't find it. Okay, I'm gonna read the partial thing. What could be the bigger? Oh man, there we go. What could be? What could the bigger royalty be if they were parents for a king or queen? They could make sizes for new. I re- I remember I was shopping online. There are like beds beyond king size. It's like for if you have like a harem of chicks, uh, of people. If you have a harem of people and you're rich and whatnot, and you have like you can like sleep 10 or 8 people comfortably, yeah, and you're in the middle. I forgot where I saw it, but there are like mattresses that are super wide. Chicks, ladies, dames. Sorry, I use rather old lingo. My bad, chat. Yours is ice cream on summer sounds good. Yes. Zara's asking if can I draw you? 100%. You have my approval. Why is it so satisfying to look at your eyes when they're so wide? I I don't know. Thank you, Wizard. Does anyone eat ice cream to cope with stress? Yes, it's medicine. Dang, yeah. I can't help I like chicks. That's sorry. That's so informal of me. My palette is definitely directed towards the fantastically curvaceous women and ladies out there. There. What's the best ice cream? Ice cream that you eat for free. I like chicks, says Hayes. Chicken nuggets. You and me both. Except when you were given a batch of chicken nuggets in which they use this weird breading that just mops up all the oil. Or like when it's like dry. You know those chicken nuggets, right? It's a soggy mess in your mouth. Classic English enjoyer. Much appreciated. Yes. Driver says, "Oh yes, get. How could I forget to mention this with my favorite lasagna? I'm gonna reword that. Enjoyer. Today I made my own lasagna from scratch. Took me 3 hours and a half to make. Now I get why we haven't seen any cook. Look, lasagna as good as it is takes so much effort to make. That's why I think I just spend the extra money to have somebody else cook it for me and then I'll go buy it. It takes what? A couple of minutes to deliver it to my door, another minute to heat it up in the microwave. Voila. What's with the stream and it always making me hungry? Why? Because Geb is a enjoyer of all things food. Long time watcher should know this by now. Cotton candy wrapped ice cream. I've never tried that. Sounds like a sugary concoction. Either masked. Are you using a Vibe headset? No. I'm using a Quest Pro. You see, the Quest Pro actually is very good when it comes to face tracking. You just have to know its limitations and work around them. Thea says, "Guys, his favorite food is those brownies that are long with peanuts." Oh, you mean the hand rolled brownies? Yeah, yeah. Delicious. Native Night says, "I'ma head to bed now. I got work in the morning. You have a great rest of the stream and rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye, Native. Sleep well." The Discord make me get lasagna ingredients. Whoever posted the lasagna pictures there and they didn't share, you're getting banned. V8 Devil with the coins. How could I not notice that? I'm so sorry. I have my like gift notifications on the side, like super on the side. But you 100% have my thanks. Appreciate it. Hmm. It's 1 in the morning. It's time for you to sleep. That's what. It's hard to read your name. I'll call you Jem instead of Jemuzo. Hmm. 3 in the morning. Ah, yes. Excellent. Je- I'll call you Jebs. Sorry, Filipino viewers. The smile is most wholesome, says Rosie. What? I think Jebs has a nice ring to it. You know, like, tara, Jebs tayo. Tara, punta tayo kay Jebs. Alam mo ba, laki-laki na ni Jebs. Di siguro nagda-diet yun. Hi there, Lambent. Sorry, I had a spout of Tagalog. Oh my, a certain mecha. Do I let him in, chat? do I let Mecha drop by? All right. You know what? Why not? Why not? He says, can I join? Of course he can join. My buddy Mecha. How can I say no? Can I call you Chips? No. Yeah, what's this? I don't mind this. What's Magnum taste like? Your typical chocolate dipped vanilla ice cream bar on a stick. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat some chips. Go eat your chips. Looks like we're gonna be changing this POV soon, chan. And so the camera. Let's see how this looks. Ah, yes, the POV. Ah. Whoa! Somebody just gave a sub. Who's that?
Good morning, Geb. Just woke up. How are you doing?
No, why if it isn't Mr. Matthew? Hi there, Matt. Nice to see you. Is that Australian punk? There we. I knew he was here.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Are you in the middle of things? What's happening?
All 78 plus 60 viewers. This is Mechatronic Dragon. Yes.
You're streaming.
If
Okay.
you
Hi,
remember, say hello. So yeah, just come
I
on.
can see that smile. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I didn't realize you were streaming, but I hope you're going good. Hi, chat.
Don't worry about it, Mecha. You're doing great. Look, you are chat. You like Mecha, right? You remember Mecha, my Australian friend. He's super cool. And he's shown on my stream a couple of times. Come on, we have over 140 viewers right now.
Wait, that's a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of people.
Oh, crikey.
So yeah.
Hi. I hope you're all doing good and vibing with Geb here. How are you going though?
Oh, if you're asking me, I've been streaming for the past hour and a half. I did want to ask you earlier, like, if we could chat after stream. I have a bit of an update on things, but you came from a barbecue, right?
I'll be around. I'll be around.
He
I
came
just
from a
had a proper
barbecue.
barbecue, so all that's. I got to meet a couple of VR chattians, and it was a good laugh. Yes. Oh my gosh, good fun.
Imagine having IRL friends who also play VR chat, chat. Consider yourself lucky, like Mecha over here. So yeah, did they go
Goodness
home?
gracious.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, so we were all chatting for like 7 hours. It was just like being in a VR chat instance, just vibing and chatting about all sorts of things. It was a good laugh. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad you had fun and you had a rather excellent time with friends. Not something
well,
all
I
of
mean,
us
that's
have.
why. Oh, I'm half jumping on couches here, but that's why I passed by here to have a bit of a chat. I wasn't expecting to see so many friends over there as well.
There.
Hi, chat.
Definitely a lot of people. I'm surprised. But yeah, Mechatronic Dragon Chat. If you want to see somebody who doodles 100% from the heart, check out his Twitch. I don't. You only stream on Twitch, right? Check out his Twitch.
Yeah, that's it.
Mechatronic Dragon. Same thing. He also dances. He's the danciest person I ever met. 100%. Really good and light on his feet. Even though he's not supposed to be dancing as hard because of certain reasons.
Yeah, I should watch my leggy.
Watch your legs.
But it's fine, Mystic. Please don't hunt me down. Wait, Mystic will use that as evidence.
And yeah, that's Mecha Chan. He's a great dancer, broken leggy Mecha. Oh my. So yeah, you met one of my friends. So what are your thoughts on it? He's mega. He looks like Megatron. I'm gonna tell him later. Oh my goodness. He does, doesn't he? He has the same like color scheme and everything. Man. It's just a metal. I believe I will get a lot of punctures on myself, perforations on the skin, which will cause bleeding if I attempt to mess around with the mane on his back, which constitutes metallic spikes. So, yeah. Also, that's proof that this is VR chat, everyone. Good morning, Ruru. Anyway, where were we? Whew, Mecha is so tall. He most definitely is tall in game. He cannot escape. Already told Mystic. You better tell Mystic, Matthew. Yura says, yeah, people were calling you AI on the clock app. I was being called AI on TikTok. What do you... I'll take it as a compliment at this point. If I appear so revolutionarily artificial, it's hard to believe it's real. I suppose that's a plus. Hi, chat. I'm ChatGPT, and the G in GPT stands for none other than Goebbels. Now, where were we? If I'm ChatGPT, then then over there is what we call DeepSeek AI. Oh, yep. There's still a little bit of hiccups. DeepSeek is still a little shy.
Embarrassing myself in the background here.
Still quite shy, so he's new to the market. His language model is not that updated yet, but surely shows a lot of promises with advanced thinking and multi-layer memory and all that jazz. So how is it, chat, watching two of the most advanced VR chatbots ever interact with you? GPT, Gebo, and then you have DeepSeek over there, also known as ASAI.
Hi. Hi.
It's a fork of DeepSeek. It's the Australian fork of it. Mhm.
Yes, my totally fictional company is, yes, a thing.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Mechatron. Chat was saying you look like Megatron, and I can see the
Megatron?
similarity from Transformers. Like you have like the black and
Oh.
the white thing on.
Oh,
Well, black and silver.
It has been a long time since I've seen any of those, but yes, yeah, I suppose that's a good point, actually, yeah.
Mecha looks huggable. Haruhi, by all means, please. Try hugging him from behind,
Big
especially.
hug. I mean,
Yes.
at the moment, I'm very metallic, so I don't know, but hopefully, yeah. A big hug to everybody else.
Big hug to Mecha. Ever wanted to end up as Christmas decorations on a metallic spiky Christmas tree? Then here's your chance, chat. Mechatronic hug services right there.
Big hug.
Matthew says, ASAI, Autonomous System Artificial Intelligence. Oh my. Is that what
Oh,
it
that's
is?
Very close. Very close.
Very close. But what is it actually, Mecha?
It's Australian Scientific Artificial Intelligence. This was before the whole AI thing happened. I was doing a project long ago, and I was like, you know what? While I'm learning, let's have a bit of fun and make a fictional company. So I did.
Don't forget the Australian
Bit of
part
fun.
of it.
Yeah. Oh.
So
A bit
as he
far away
mentioned,
on this end, we do exist. Australia exists. I swear.
yeah. And look, he's a model before the actual modern AI model. So yeah, pardon the rather analog architecture that's going on. But trust me,
Still the occasional running into the walls thing while dancing
Yes.
is a thing. Yes.
what's this? Metal Raccoon. He reminds me of Metal Sonic a bit. They do, agrees Rule. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I mean that's fair. That's fair. I can't quite go as zoomy fast as all those characters can. But I mean, maybe if I was technically being launched into space, that might work at the same time. Maybe.
Launch into space. Ah, yes. Metal Sonic says Rule. Yep, there you have it.
Sonic AI.
Oh my great googly moogly.
Instead of Deep Seek, it's Deep Straya. There we go. That's the name now.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, Australia.
Deep
Yeah,
Straya.
well done.
Well done. Well done.
Fair dinkum. Good point. Good point.
Fair dinkum. What does fair dinkum mean? I've seen that phrase before. There's a game about it actually.
Well, you're right. Actually, there is a game based about.
Yeah,
it.
there's a game.
Fair dinkum is kind of like it really depends on the kind of context. So fair dinkum is like that's true type of thing. If you hear the term bloody oath, that's also another term for that's true.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nah is another one that's occasionally used.
Yeah, nice. No.
Again,
Nah,
context.
yeah is yeah. Okay, it's the
Exactly, you
last
got it,
word. Oh,
Geb,
yeah.
you got
Got it.
Mm-hmm. What's another one here and there? I mean, crikey, you'd probably hear me say that a lot. Geb's heard me say that way too many
Oh,
times.
no,
at
it's
this point.
ingrained. Yep.
That's a statement of surprise. Struth is also a statement of surprise. What's some other ones I can think of off the top of my head? But those are important ones. I mean, a snag is what is a hot dog in a piece
Snag.
of bread as well. Since we were
Sna-
having the barbecue, everybody was having snags. Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that. Snag serve.
Snags?
Hot
Oh,
dog
yeah.
sandwiches. Oh,
Pretty bad.
okay. Oh.
Looks like I've got chat over there that looks like Metal Sonic with the personality of Tails. I'll take that.
Agreed.
Fair point.
Mm.
But yeah.
Love their accent. TikTok is like with roaring agreement. They love how you sound, Mecha. Right? True-blooded
Thank you
Australian.
very much.
Yes.
It's true. No, you're breathtaking. That's not a panic response. You're breathtaking.
Let's zoom in more on Mecha's face because he said it's not a panic response. There we go. Isn't it just
Face, oh my
lovely
God.
how undiluted of an Australian he is in personality and charm and kindness, everything, right?
I'm just a goofy goober. Don't
Right?
worry.
Yeah, he is the most golden-hearted person I've ever met in this game, and I'm glad to have him as a friend. Like running a year now, and chat. Most importantly,
Yeah.
though, chat. He's single and looking. All right, so like he's into like he's
I'm
into
gonna find a
ladies.
Special lady one day.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of funny.
So you know what to do. Yeah. So yeah, charming gentleman for no, not for up for availability, and yes, there you have it.
Robotic product. Hello.
Hi there. That's not make vibrating robot jokes, but yes, totally authentic, genuine, sincere.
I do have a question for chat.
Okay, chat.
Curiosity. Hello.
Gib
If
is
you're
hosting
all
a dating show
going
for
to a
him.
barbecue,
Yes.
what would you expect to have at the barbecue? So like we've got hot dogs, patties, veggie patties, and stuff like. I'm wondering
Yeah.
what everybody would kind of think.
So Mega's asking if you were to go to a barbecue, backyard, open grill, chairs, party drinks, and whatnot, like punch. What do you expect to see? Also, Ruru says host a dating show for him. Yes. Thank you for the cheer. That actually sounds like a great plan. When I was still in school, I would always play the matchmaker for people. I have the
Oh.
perfect candidate.
Look at that smile! That's a big heckin' smile! Oh my goodness gracious!
Let's just like mime the first letter of their name. There we go. There we
Oh
go.
my goodness!
Now, on to
My
Mecca's
goodness.
question. What were they saying? You can see chat, right? They're saying ribs for certain, burger and lots of burgers
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Matthew.
Burgers, yes.
Oh, I want some burgers right now.
Oh, I mean, we
Dutch
got some
snacks.
spare in the fridge. Just travel over
That-
here.
I would if you weren't a continent away.
Yeah.
There's a big water gap between us. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not quite standard, 5 minutes type of travel, sadly.
Mm-mm. Who is that? That's Mecha, my friend, Mechatronic Dragon,
I'm Mick.
dancer
I can-
extraordinaire, artist, handsome, single, and looking. There you have it. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we got prawns! Well done, well done. Shrimps fall through the barbecue grills. Prawns are big enough not to. Props to Brutus. Well done.
There you have it. That's true. Prawns have to be like a certain girth, right? It has to be certain thick so it just doesn't fall. Mhm.
Yeah, otherwise they'll fall and just turn into ash. Oh no.
Yeah.
So you want to cook them up proper. Dutch snacks like I don't know what that word is, but I wonder
What-
if
What?
that go on the
what
barbecue.
Frikandel.
I'm learning words today. Let's go.
Yes. Mayara says, I don't know where in the world used it to, but chicken heart is pretty good. Skewered chicken hearts are actually really nice because the heart is actually a lean muscle. Very good source of protein, and it's readily available. Sometimes you would get chicken livers instead, and you would wrap it with something. I forgot what you call it. I don't know what you call it in English. But it is indeed a delicacy here. Chicken liver, chicken hearts, and chicken gizzards. They're surprisingly good. But like with any internal organ dish, please prepare it and clean it properly.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good point.
Alright? It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But hearts, I believe, are easier to consume because it's pure muscle, really.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah?
And
Those spiky.
veggies. A kebab? Is that what
Yeah,
they're
something
called?
like a kebab. Like a kebab. That's what
I
I'm
think so,
thinking it
yeah.
is.
Those are very nice, yes. Just to make sure, Gab, you've had something to eat, right? And this isn't going to drive you slightly mad, right? You've
What,
got
what,
some-
what
right?
would that be? Alright, I'm Go ahead.
Okay, good. Otherwise, we can change the subject away from food. Yeah. But good gracious. Chippies. Oh yes.
Rich.
Oh, I see two people. No, you're both breathtaking out there. Yes. Thank you for the kind words for us.
Ah, yes.
Oh my gosh.
We shall now inspect
Cry.
Mecha up close. So that's his knees. That's arthritis free, child.
My knee? Huh? What? Huh? What? Huh? What's happening?
Oh, not
their knees.
Yeah, the knees.
Uh,
The knees.
Uh,
How are your
These are
knees,
ours.
Mecca? For somebody who
Ah.
dances a whole lot, do you have problems with your joints from use?
Fortunately, not yet.
Not
But
yet.
after the giving a shot
Yet.
ice skating last week,
Okay.
definitely everything's still kind of repairing a little bit. Ice skating's fun. As an Australian who's never given it a shot before, I did tumble a few times, but it was good fun. Though, definitely watch yourself if you go ice skating for the first time. Yes.
Mhm.
But it's more the feet you want to watch out for. You don't want to hurt them or overstress them, especially when you're on the tippy top part of your foot, because you're jumping around depending on the song, and a lot of pressure's there rather than on your heel and things like that. So if you're not planning for it, you can put way too much force on the wrong spot there and do a heckin' injury. And you don't want to do that, especially when you're having fun dancing or exercising.
Yes, precisely.
And yeah, I might be slightly recovering from a little bit of that myself. The
Lightly.
knees are okay, thankfully. Yeah.
So there you have it, chat. One of VR chat's more grown individuals giving insight on on body wear and tear. So yeah.
Oh yeah, some oil would probably fix everything up. Yeah, there you go.
Some oil, some lubrication. If you eat a lot of the collagen-rich foods, your joints will thank you later.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. You see, Mecca here has to make sure he's in prime tip-top fitness shape, so he's ready for the thing he's king.
wibble
You
wobble.
know, gotta be.
Gotta make sure, because when it comes to all the dancing, you don't know what song's gonna play next. It might be something straightforward, or it could be something where you're doing spins and everything and dodging your cables and walls, and then cables again, and then tripping over the cable. And yes, but besides that, it's good. It's good. But I think, as long as you're having fun, you know, that's the key thing there. And not
Precisely.
injuring yourself.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. I cannot stress enough. If you have an injury from physical exertion, don't force mobility on whatever injured part you have. You're just gonna make it worse, and it will take it longer before you can get back to the physical activity that you were enjoying. Right? So just listen to your body, listen to your friends. Take that rest, recover. Don't be like a literal hard headed individual over there made of
I see you
metal.
staring at me in a very comedic way.
Mhm.
But yes, I'm pacing myself so that it does indeed rest up the leggy, but at the same time, it is definitely a good bit of fun. And well, I mean, come on, I host some of the dancing stuff.
See that
I can't-
precisely the host has to set a good example.
Exactly. But of course, I will sit down during the dance sessions as needed nowadays.
They're good.
Nowadays.
Till at least you fully recover. Style says, I'm so nervous to dance in front of people, but I go all out alone in my room. If you play VR chat, you can like hit up Mecca. He'd be more than willing to
Yeah.
help you with the dance things. Again, he hosts what was that, Mech? The VR dancing?
So, with the crew I'm with, I host the Asia Pacific time slot where I can with a bunch of other champions. And we have a bunch of dance legends join us as well, wherever they feel like. You're more than welcome to join us as well, where you feel like to. But yeah, it's a good bit of fun. If you're ever interested in dancing or something, yeah, just say hello. I hear you do dancing, and I'll be like, I got you. Don't worry
See how
about that.
spirited he is about the whole thing. He's really passionate about that. Really passionate about it. And
Is
he is also going to help you walk you through it if you're really interested in VR dancing. I want to join in his activities, but unfortunately, chat, as you are aware, I have a very small play space and I am bound to the limitations of that. Unfortunately. Oh well. Maybe when I have a bigger house, I can go all out with mech one day. But at the very least, I can do basic exercise with him, though, and that's at least something. Called soaring
Heck
fitness.
yeah. That's right. Soaring fitness is a great start to kind of get in the idea of what it's like to wobble around, but you know, at your own pace. If you're not sure about the dancing first, you can get the hang of it there. I still
Yes.
can't help but smile and go, we hung out there. And, yeah, lo and behold, we're here a year later having a good giggle. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Imagine that.
You can't see me smiling, but I am smiling quite thoroughly.
It's been a year. Goodness me. How quickly
know.
time passes. It really surprises me most of the time how just the months go
Sorry,
by.
hang on.
So quick. Next thing you know, it's 2026. And that's another year. But I'm not trying to get into a melancholic mood here.
We all time travel at our own rates.
Precisely. Oh, there you go. Mecha's more user friendly form.
Yeah, so this is the less metallic version of me. Hello. This is how I usually run around.
That
But the
don't
metallic one's more efficient.
yes. So he traded efficiency for cuteness. Can we all agree that Mecha looks like 10 times cuter in this form?
No, you're
Right?
overthinking.
Like,
No,
look,
you
look,
can't do
look.
that.
There's a zoom in.
Come on.
Right? Look at him get all shy. Well, what lady wouldn't swoon over such a gentleman with a personality like his, right?
Bruh. Crikey.
So yeah.
You can't see it, but I'm blushing. Don't do this.
Uh, right?
Stop it.
Okay. Mechatronic dragon, guys.
He's a great dancer.
but
We make a really romantic
I'll
match
leave
on
you
a
all
song
to it. You
selected
keep
by our
vibing.
friend Reeve. It
I'm
was
glad I was
Okay.
able to catch you for a little
And
bit,
getting on
Gib.
the question.
Of course.
Mecha
And
admitted
keep you
you're an
awesome.
adorable goofy bee, and we love you.
Take
See you
care,
around,
Gib.
Mecha. Take
Chat
care.
As well.
I catch you
Gib's
later, okay?
got you. You're in safe hands. Oh.
Chat, say goodbye
And
to
I'm gonna
Mecha.
try
Come on.
Bye. I'm standing on everything and bumping into everything. Oh, it's like, oh gosh. Okay.
See ya. And there goes my buddy Mecha. Whew. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a funny point of view. Oh. I feel like I'm just holding a phone like this. Like, oh yeah, I'm currently doing okay. I'm glad you're fine too. So anywho, back to regular programming. As you can see, we had a rather wonderfully unexpected guest today. Matthew says, sorry, I didn't see this earlier. He makes a great dancer. We make a really romantic bachata song selected by our friend Weave. It was great, and getting on the question, Mecca admitted, you're an adorable goofy bean and we love. I'm sure he knows it, but just like me, humility will never leave his heart. And that's what makes him so genuine. He's so down to earth with things. I can't help but smile whenever he himself gets little wins in life. and I will always cheer on with any and all of his endeavors. Still watching, says Jebs. Hi. Streaming on PC. Yes, definitely. Style says Mecha has shown up on every stream I've seen of you, and he's so cute. I'll pass on the message, don't worry. Hi there, laro tayo. Yeah, it's a bit late. I'll be here for 20 more minutes, Chan. I I have to prep up and go for a dinner. Man, I was planning on recording too. Maybe I can do that later or tomorrow. Also, chat, I'll be honest with you. This week has seen a great spike in viewers. I usually just have like what 20. Now it's at 60 average. Thank you Twitch viewers. Also you TikTok. Why, if it isn't Cat the Crazed Kaji, this one is most definitely happy to see a familiar face drop by his stream. How are you doing? Oh, I fumbled that a lot. Hi, Cat. The dark clouds over your head parting. I hope it is. Vincent Hayes says, perfect. I need to sleep in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Maybe I should make a Khajiit redeem, now that I think about it. In exchange for the bean cam that disappeared. Guy says, I'm now a corporal. I'm so happy. Congratulations on your promotion. Where Chaos says we shall get you famous if that's the last thing we do. I hope it's the good kind, not the infamy that usually follows online personas. I've seen a bunch of things in a yeah. I've been watching you for a long time. I see. Hi. What's this? Good day and good night. Style, thanks for hanging out as long as you have, and I'll see you around. I'm a bit thirsty, so I'm gonna go hydrate. Wow. Some good tea. I just did, Vincent. Okay. Alpha Romeo Mike Yankee. It has been way too long, says Kibo Shinari. Hi, welcome back to stream. And now it's paid for. Now, where was I? Let me go check Discord again super quick. I hope you'll excuse me. Oh, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Look at Mecha and Mystic. Matthew and Axiom. Vesper and me. Ooh, I am so excited to see this. Ah, okay. Hold on. Almost done. Put that there. Put this here. Double check that. Yep. What is with that cheap music I'm listening to? Hold on, hold on. There we go. Huh, I don't have much time left, do I? Oh well. Hi there, King of Fear. Communication Information System. Cool. Time is a dirty word. How is time a dirty word? No, color me curious. What if 21? Make things a bit darker. Light source from the back. No, it's too dark. Keep it like that. Time is a dirty word because there's never enough of it. I see. Oh, I'm simply reading your messages. What says? Ah, we have somebody new. Razza's trophy says, "Good morning, Gammas. I always find your way. No, you always find your way into my Instagram feed. So I'm glad to catch you live. I hope you're doing well." Thank you very much. I hope I'm not intrusive to your FYP. But I'd be happy if you did enjoy what I was doing. What I make. What I upload. Roxanne, hi. So yeah, I would hang out here in the VR chat a tad bit longer if only I didn't have to go out for dinner in an hour. Oh boy. I hope at least it's in the barbecue place that I hope it's gonna be at. Yes. What's this? Matthew says, I just need Gebo's content on TikTok to be happy. Okay. Thanks, man. Grab some dinner, some burgers. Yeah, I should, huh? Raz says, no, I appreciate the way you share your thoughts. I think that's all my streams are about. Just me sharing my thoughts. No, I did the Kajik thing. That's different. It amazes me how people can put this level of detail into the facial expression of avatars. It's mad. You know what's funny, Chan? This isn't even my final form. Oh, I can't believe I said that. But I have some hardware incoming that I hope, if according to my expectations, should raise the fidelity of the facial tracking I'm using. Wow. Even more so. I've done a lot of shortcuts in order to make the limitations of the Quest Pro appear as what's the proper term? As high fidelity as it may seem. But to the trained eye, I'm sure you can see what I mean. Especially if you know what the Quest Pro tracks and what it doesn't. Raz says, haha, there's always room for some silly, so Kajits are also welcome. Ah. Do you smoke? No. No, I don't. I think smoking gives you terrible kissing breath. Who in their right mind would want to lips to lips with an ashtray? Sorry, chat. Not a big fan of smoker's breath. Limitations. I thought it was one of the upper tier. Kendall, the Quest Pro cannot track individual eyebrows up and down. They average it. And also, it cannot track tongue movement, except in and out, and a bunch of other things. But it works pretty well for what I needed to do. Apocalypse says, it just amazes me the tech and the creation ability that makes it so detailed and shows the facial expression and tracking so well. Another thing you can do, chat, I don't think I've mentioned this on the guy who was asking about how do I do this? The facial tracking is so good. It's a very common question I come across, especially on Instagram. I get DMs about it. Chat, what I suggest is if you have some Blender know-how, go put your avatar in there and then modify the shape keys. Resculpt the facial expressions, the blend shapes, to how you want things to appear. For example, my eyebrows. These things are custom. Like I made it and I linked it to the blend shapes that is meant for the face, and there you have it. Eyebrows. You know what, chat? I actually may have to cut things a bit shorter today. Oh, I still have to take a shower. Never go on a date without taking a shower, chat. And again, never forget to put some deodorant too. Nobody wants to have a stinky person across them on the scene. You probably ask 1,500 times. Somna still up in there? I'll be going. 100%. I think Matthew here was kind enough to say that, hey, I got a buddy pass and you can have one of the tickets. Thank you, man. No musky huskies, is that the term? My Firefox has been updated. Now let's see who's online. Ronuki. The familiar name. Who is streaming VR chat at this hour? I like it listen. E-girls. Oh, that's me. What do you know? I'm on the second row. Amazing. Gosh, oh, wow. I don't see anybody I want to have. Anybody I know. Oh, well. Maximo, man. Thomas Duebi. What's this? Oh, he's wearing the Forality Silva gear. Okay. Richu. Wow, that's adorable. What type of headset I'm using? A MetaQuest Pro. Sorry. I'm browsing through Twitch real quick. Goodness. It's a time of day where nobody's online, I suppose. Oh, well. Zeldar, what's this? Oh, wow, nice camera angle. But yeah, no, I'm gonna spare ourselves the trouble. No raids for today. Do you know Zal? Reading? Dump us to the shrimp type. Is there such a thing? Shrimp. I used to watch this channel which just constantly hosted like hens and oh, it does exist. Shrimps 24/7. Oh, I wish I had the wait, I do. That's adorable. They have 54k followers. What lens do they use? It's so nice. Anywho, how do you have the most beautiful model on TikTok? No, I am far from it, chat. Trust me. Most beautiful model on TikTok. What these silly chatters are saying. What's this? That's true. Have a good dinner, Gabby, says Hayes. Yeah, I will. Matt, I think Vesper would appreciate it too. If you have an extra ticket. Only if you do. So it doesn't go to waste. It's my jam to be poetical, says Matt. Sure. Of course. Jazz is for real so underrated, right? If only more people would appreciate it. What accent do you have? I'm in love with it. A Filipino accent, I suppose. Alright. You know what? Last 2 minutes, chat. Last 2 minutes and I gotta go. Can't stay here long. Got places to be. People to meet. Dinner to eat. It's just another weekend outside, huh? A little bit of actual IRL socialization that gets shunted towards me. Before, I used to seek the company of other people proactively, but as I grew older, the days went by, I started to find solace just being in my sanctuary, my home. Probably because a big attribute to somebody wanting to be outside of the house more is if you're living with your parents or in a household which you're not exactly comfortable in. So you will find and seize every opportunity you could. If it means you going out, go home to eat and sleep. Wait until the next day comes and pray that you have an opportunity to go out and be with the people you want to be with. But ever since I was able to afford my own apartment, I found little reason to go out. It's just everything's here. My comfort, my solace, my music, my hobbies. And I get to connect with people here in VR chat. I'm not saying IRL socialization is bad. I'm simply sharing the things that have changed since I've gone as what most people would call independent. Good night, Hayes. Matthew says, greet Vesper for me and have a nice day. I'll strap on soon to start my day. B-Day boy is out. Is it your birthday today? It's May. Oh, time zones. Matthew. Happy birthday. But let me greet you in person instead. When I'm in VR, alright? Chat, if you're still here, let's all greet Matthew Sunseeker. One of my most loyal followers and now my friend. A most happy birthday. Also, hello, Anonymous. Anywho, with that being said, chat, I gotta go. It's time to skedaddle, to exit the stage, to move on. The next, never mind. I'll stop being cool. I'm getting hungry. I'll see you again probably day after tomorrow, if not Tuesday. I have a lot of things I need to do. It's in the pipeline. Again, I am working on reading books and novels and short stories for you, and it's something you can subscribe to soon. It's going to be in my Discord, but once it's up and running, it's gonna run through Coffee, maybe Patreon. I have to see, and then I will be announcing it in all my social media. So if you want a little extra gab whenever he's not live, you will have the chance to get it. Don't worry, the prices are gonna be very accessible, and yeah, see you around, chat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay lovely, everybody. And don't forget, lasagna, ice cream, milk chocolate. These are the most important things in life. Cherish them.